was I don't know what was that. Anyway, we're gonna do our best to make this swift because I got stuff to do. But let's talk about Queens real quick. What happened? What happened on Queens? I'll just I wrote notes. Why don't I just look at them? Am I insane? Let's go here. If you want to see my notes, just go to twitter.com and search at KRambling. It's literally my channel name, but backwards. So you'll be able to find it easily. Why is it taking me so long to find these notes, child? Okay. This Ain't Sweetie is back. Y'all know This Ain't Sweetie is one of my favorite characters. I like her. I like the dimensions of her. I like that she is very, when she's in her, sweetie mode, she's aggravating. I wonder if can y'all hear me, child? I'm not talking into the mic at all. She's aggravating when she's in her sweetie mode and everything is, no cap, for real, blah, blah, blah. But when she's Lauren, she's just chill. Like, it's just like, okay, I'm around here. I want to be normal. So, This Ain't Sweetie is doing this music video. It's very Beyonce, bow down-esque with the king and the queen but she's snorting coke off somebody's stomach. Like, it's just like, girl, when did we start promote? I mean, I know we promoted in our music, but when did we start showing drug use in our music videos? Is anybody snorting coke in their music videos? Have I missed it? It sounds like somebody outside. They don't have to ring the doorbell. I don't have time. Long story short, child, Sweetie is back. And she has this group of homosexuals. We'll get to that in a minute. We'll come back. In the meantime, Eric, E-Rock wants to spend time with his child. So he asked Naomi, can he hang out with his daughter without her? Like, this is not a grown woman. Ain't she 20? I'm having a hard time with this. She's 20. Just be like, leave your mama, we gonna hang out. I'm confused. By the way, if you didn't watch my other video, I messed up my eyebrows and we're just gonna have to deal with it. Thanks so much. So the song This Ain't Sweetie was doing is called I'm That Chick, but she is no longer that chick. So she's in the conference room, honey, with the record execs, and they're like, are you still that chick? Because they want that chick, but she's not that chick. So she's like, I'm just going to be that chick for work, and then when I'm off work, I'm going to be regular. I'm going to wash my clothes and all of this. And Naomi is like, you going to get your wires crossed. It's going to end up bad. And she's like, no, serenity, peace. And I'm like, girl, okay. But then I realized while I'm watching that Naomi is mothering This Ain't Sweetie instead of Jill. And I'm like, Jill, you're neglecting your child before our very eyes. And then I realized Jill is neglecting everybody. I'm like, Jill, this whole episode, I was just like, Jill, girl. Because she was my fave. I mean, she wasn't my fave. They're on my fave. It's a Butter. But I'm starting to warm up to Butter. We'll get there. So we find out that the Nasty Bees are doing the AMAs. They got new music. They're making a comeback. Okay. Okay, if this were real life, if somebody called me and said Salt and Pepper put out a new album and they is finna go to the AMAs without Spinderella, because they don't do Spinderella, I'd just be like, okay, we just saw them at the BET Awards. Like, thanks. Like, honestly, if this was real life. But they are being received very well by the people, and congratulations to them. Brianna meets up with Mistress Heifer. They having tea, and she like, what you gonna do with this baby? And Mistress Heifer like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with the baby. And so Brianna is like, figure it out and call me back. So in the meantime, they rehearsing for the AMAs. Butter is getting ready. Butter Pecan, if y'all haven't been, if you're new. And if you're new, welcome. Come on in, have a seat, kick off your shoes, and relax your feet. Party on down to the SVB kicking. Yeah, Butter is Butter Pecan Valeria. I'm just calling her Butter, child. Anyway, Butter is in the mirror. She doing her dance moves, and she's like, I need to have some work done. I thought she looked it fine. And the girls were like, you look fine. But she was like, because I'm in this group with 3 black women who... My granddaddy here, hold on. You'll have to excuse me. I had a grandparent emergency. I forgot where I left off, to be honest. I think it was with Butter having her surgeries. She's saying that she wants to have these surgeries. And the girls are like, no, you're fine. And she's like, I'm in a group with 3 black women who just don't age. And I'm like, I mean, what can we do? What can we do? So they tell her, have surgeries, whatever, just don't touch your face. So she gets butt shots. And she's laid over. And I'm like, dang, butt shots, do you like that? I know a I was going to say a BBB. A Belle Biv DeVoe, honey, that tears you up. That has you laid over and bleeding and carrying on. But I didn't know butt shots had you. I guess I kind of did know because of that episode of Eon. Look. But I was like, dang, she tore up. So she can't walk. She taking pills and all of this carrying on, child. But we'll get to that. I've skipped forward. This ain't Sweetie is at the grocery store, and she half wants to get recognized, but half don't. They call her number at the butcher counter, and she asks for 4 hams, and he's like, that's a lot. And then she's like, okay, 4 pounds of ham, and he's like, that's still a lot. And she's like, okay, he's like, for you, just probably like a half a pound of ham. So she's like, okay, 1/2 pound of ham. And he's like, do you want smoked? And she's like, I have no idea. She don't know how to be regular. And I'm like, how old was she when she got famous? I'm confused. Is she a child star? Her mama ain't never went to the grocery store with her. Maybe she don't have a mama. We ain't heard nothing about Mrs. This Ain't Sweetie. But anyway, she's at the grocery store. She half wants to get recognized. So she standing in line. There's some young Caucasian women, teenagers in line, and she takes off her glasses to half get recognized. And they look at her, and they look at the magazine that she's on, and they look back at her, and they just like, like they did not. They didn't clock her. They didn't care. And I'm like, girl, you is black at the grocery store. You not gonna get noticed by some white folks at the grocery store. It's just not gonna. They think we all look alike, girl. You just a black lady at the grocery store. So at some point, the little girl picks up the magazine and she's like, I can't believe I thought she was on Doja Cat's level. She's just, not that girl anymore. And so This Ain't Sweetie rams her cart into the girl's cart and just walks off without buying her groceries. And I'm like, what you gonna eat? But then I remember she's wealthy, so she could just call somebody to bring her something to eat. Like, you'll have to excuse me. There is a book. My depth perception has been terrible lately. I used to could just one hand and get them. This bug's still flying around here somewhere. Terrible. Anyway, JoJo, Naomi and E-Rock's daughter, is at the restaurant with E-Rock, honey, with Eric, and he wants her to call him dad. She's like, I'm just gonna call you Eric for the time being, and I'm like, reasonable. And then at some point, child, these boys walk up to him and they're like, E-Rock, we your biggest fan. We old school stands from back in the day. And can we take a picture? And they taking the picture, and they snatch his chain and run off. And I'm like, I just really am not sure in what world some white boys can run and a black man can't catch them. We's runs, honey. We's runs. We get out in the ground, honey, and hit it. So I was confused. But whatever, child. So his chain got snatched. Now he wants to get his chain back. You know, street code. Give me my chain, yada, yada, yada. So JoJo is like, let's call the police. He like, let's not call the police. This is the streets. I know who got my chain. Yada, yada. We'll get back to it. Jill is missing. They dancing. Can't nobody find Jill. I'm like, Lord, don't let Jill be getting high nowhere, because she done gone off her rocker. But she is missing. She comes in late. And she's giving glam for no reason. She dressing different. And it's just like, Jillith. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. In the meantime, Brianna goes over to Mistress Heifer. Mistress Heifer is like, we gonna unalive the baby. We gonna send the baby to glory. And will you come with me to the clinic? And Brianna's like, yeah. And I'm like, not I said the cat. She being real lenient with this heifer, and I just don't understand. At some point, child, Jill, this heifer that she cheated on Tina with is just the worst influence. She's terrible. And I don't know why Jill can't see that. Because in the group, like, Jill and Brianna were always the ones that was like, this the group, we family. We family. Like Tiny says. And now Jill is like, girl, I want the attention. Because she's getting attention. She got recognized. She signed a cover of Out magazine that she was on. And Butter is like, not feeling being dissed, because she was always the light-skinned heifer that got the attention. But this girl is like breaking up the group to a certain extent, and it's just like, I don't know why Jill can't see what's going on, but it's on my nerves. That's what I know for sure. At some point, child, Jill was getting ready to check out at the store. Finds out that her husband, Braxton P. Hartnebrigg, has frozen the accounts. And I'm like, why you don't have your own accounts? You ain't getting royalties. Royalties would be my own separate account. Now, I know it's been 20 years. The royalties probably wasn't much. It would still be my own separate account. I don't understand. I do not understand. My mama and grandma and them taught me, you have your joint account if that's, but you have your side account as well. Maybe 2, maybe 4. Child, anyway. But Braxton P. Hartnebrigg is acting all kinds of crazy, honey. I'm like, put him on suicide watch, because she talks to him and she like, I broke up with you. He like, you broke up with me for Tina. Now you would, I don't know, bad influence heifer. And that's not what I signed on for. And I'm like, put this man on watch. He is nuts. We should have known he was nuts. Actually, we kind of knew he was nuts from when he told Jill that she could be in a relationship with him and Tina. I'm like, if y'all hear a dog barking, I'm sorry. It's not mine. It's across the street. So in the meantime, JoJo and Eric. What is JoJo? Is her name just JoJo? It's just JoJo. It's not short for nothing. Anyway, JoJo and Eric go down to some establishment, honey. And we're hearing Jadakiss' music in the background. We see the bouncer tell him someone named E-Rock is down here to see you. We hear the Jadakiss laugh. And then we get upstairs and there's Jadakiss. And I'm like, that was not a reveal. That was not a reveal. I told my mama, that's Jadakiss. And we get upstairs and I looked at the man. I said, that's Jadakiss. That was my second Jadakiss. And then JoJo says, you're Jadakiss. I'm like, y'all just did not. Y'all, it would have been a more iconic reveal if y'all didn't have all that carry on. If they weren't playing Jadakiss's song in the background and just had a mysterious man go, ha ha, or whatever. You know, I can't do the Jadakiss laugh, honey. I'm not Jadakiss. I'm KailahJr. By the way, if you're new and you don't know how to pronounce Kai, on this channel, it's K. Anyway, yeah, it was just not really a reveal, and I didn't. But Jadakiss say he ain't got that man chain, and they gonna get killed or something. I don't know. Anyway, this Ain't Sweetie has these gays. I hated it. I hated every moment of it. As you know, I love the gays. I'm a big fan of the gays. I always have some gays. Always. Not because I need gays around me, but because gays love me, honey, and I love them. And we are a family. But this was very forced. It was very forced. It was very uncomfortable to watch. You have these 3 flaming homosexuals, honey. 2 blacks and a white. And not only do you have them being stereotypically just, yes, Miss Girl, honey thing, the house down boots, okay, yes, work, mama. It's just really, aside from that, which is very stereotypical and very uncomfortable, you have these gays in all sorts of sparkles and skirts and big old hoop earrings, and that on top, that's another level of, what are we doing? What are we doing? I used to sing that all the time. It's a whole nother level of what are we doing? And then on top, you have these gays telling her she's a flop, telling her she's not that girl, telling her just go ahead and do some drugs, honey, because we love it when you do the drugs. Like, you have these gays being the most negative influence on the show thus far. And that's not representation. We know that there are gays out there that love to do drugs just like straights. Honey, there are gays out there that do the most. There are straights out there that do the most. I'm not understanding why you had this trio of Miss Mama, the house down boots, honey girl, mama thing. You had 3 Laganjas just there. And it just was not okay with me. I didn't like it. Y'all let me know how y'all felt about it. I did not like it. But they influenced her to get a horn in her forehead. So we ripping off a little Uzi Vert's diamond in his forehead. And I hated it. I hated every moment of it. Genuinely hated it. And I'm like, this Ain't Sweetie needs her mothers, but Jill is not there for her right now. So she feels abandoned by her mama. I mean, she cool with the other mamas, you know, Naomi and Brianna and Butter. But it's just like she needs her mama. Her main, them other mamas are like her stepmamas. Jill is her birth mama. And she needs her mama. And her mama is not there. Because her mama out here wilding out with bad influence helper. It's terrible. Terrible. At some point, honey, they at this AMA's gay pre-party for Out Magazine, child, and Jill, wait a minute, did I even write that? I didn't even write that in my notes, but I'll tell you about it. Jill gets on stage with 2 drag queens performing as the Nasty Butches, which Jill's not butch, so it just didn't come together for me. It just did not come. If you had Leah Delaria up there, Big Boo from Orange is the New Black, if you had Ellen DeGeneres up there, if you had Sarah Gilbert up there, then maybe so. I don't know why I'm only calling out white butches. If you had Lena Waithe up there, honey, if you had Aisha Hines, even though she's not very butch, she's on the butch spectrum up there. If you had Child Nova from Queen Sugar, whose name I can't remember right now, but I love her. I think it's like Natina or something. It's not coming to me right now, but sickening. If you had her up there, then maybe so. But you had Jill Natari Feminine Naughton up there, and it was just not giving butch. I don't know why it was happening. I don't know why she didn't tell her friends it was happening. It was very odd. It was odd. But anyway, at this same party, there's a little rapper boy that's staring from across the room. Butter think he's staring at her, and she flipping her hair, honey, and shifting her weight from one leg to the other, trying to give femininity. And Brianna is just over there like, okay, girl. Come to find out, he walk over, he like, I love Brianna. You know, her name is Professor Sex. That's uncomfortable to say for me. Because her name is Eve. Why is we calling her Professor Sex? Like, let's talk about who she is. Blondie, you can find her in the hood with her people. Like, she does not represent sexualness. Okay, Eve was rapping about the hood and shaking her tambourine. Like, I don't understand. And she on Kelly Rowland's song told y'all she was gonna bump like this. I don't understand. I don't understand this Professor Sex persona, but okay. Girl, not this plane. There's so much going on out here. I'll tell y'all about it later. But anyway, and if I didn't say in this video, disregard this latter. Just disregard her. She's a co-host. She and Aunt Esther, who has a glare. We just can never see Aunt Esther. It's terrible. But yeah, he's like, I have had a thing for Professor Sex since 1999, and I just love you so much, and here's my number. She's like, I got 5 kids. He's like, we can go to Paris. She's like, I got 5 kids. He like, bring them kids. I'm like, they daddy just died. That's not, no, don't bring them kids. Do not bring the kids. Where do the kids be? Them kids are it's the quietest set of 5 kids I have ever seen in my life, because we be at Brianna's house all the time, and ain't no toy. Like the first episode, you saw some toys on the ground, you saw kids running around, she was combing hair. Where did them kids be? They at their nana house. In which case, show us the nana, and let her be Lynn Whitfield, let her be Loretta Devine, let her be like one of the rap girls from back in the... Well, I don't know, because Eve is kind of up there in age. Like, and the rap girls aren't that much. I was going to say like MC Lyte, but MC Lyte's not that much older than Eve. So don't let it be MC Lyte. But let it be like Shaka Khan. Let it be like Leela Roshan. Let it be Vanessa L. or Vanessa A. Williams. Like, give us a legendary mother for Eve's character. Thank you. That's all I ask. And I want a legendary mother for all the characters, to be honest. Legendary, honey. Who besides Lynn Whitfield can give us a good church mother? Because we need Jill's mama to be one of them sanctified mamas, honey. Down to the church. I know she Catholic, but maybe the mama ain't Catholic. We'll figure out. We'll cast them later. Let me finish this show, child. So yeah, he gives his number to P6 and all of this carrying on, child. And Butters once again dissed. Because remember at the beginning of the episode when Jill was signing her Out magazine cover, they did not want to be a part of Butter and what she had going on. Um, this ain't Sweetie is in there with this horn in her head, and they convince Jill to go over there and talk to her daughter. So Jill is like, "You got a horn in your head," and this ain't Sweetie is just like, "Yeah." And that's basically the conversation. She like, they both are like, "You've changed. You've changed." And then Jill gets pulled away by Heifer. Cruel intentions, Heifer, honey. We move on. This ain't Sweetie back with these homophobic gays. That's what I'm gonna start calling them. These gays were the most homophobic I have ever seen. Like, not that they were homophobic in their actions on the show, but their portrayal, their whoever casted and wrote these gays into the show, homophobic, 100%, transphobic probably, terrible. Anyway, so they in there, they trying to influence her to take drugs, yada yada. She's like, "No, I'm not gonna take drugs. I'm, serenity and peace. Serenity and peace." So she don't take the drugs. She goes into the dressing room. She get ready. She changed her clothes. She pulling her shirt off, and the horn just hits the ground, and she's like, "Ah, ah," and I'm like, my hands be looking so big on this camera. My hands are small. I have small hands, but they be looking just gigantic on this camera, and I don't understand. But yeah, she's screaming, and she got this hole in her forehead. Now, mind you, if you look closely early in the episode, you could literally see where the prosthetic was placed. Like, you could see the makeup outline of it was terrible. Whoever did the makeup, fire them. No shade. Like, I'm not for these girls losing their jobs. Look at this little streak of hair. Like, girl, what are you doing? What is all of this doing? Honestly, shut up, Kayla. Yeah, whoever did that prosthetic job, don't fire them, but move them over to craft services. Make them a production assistant, something, janitorial staff, because they did not do a good job on that prosthetic, period. And whoever did the horn just fell out of my head and now it's bleeding. Terrible. All through the episode, Butter thought she had a stalker. I didn't pay much attention to it because I didn't care. She is at the house, child. She see this car again, and then her doorbell ring, and she opens the door. It's an old lady with some flowers, and she like, "You not who I thought you were. You not the stalker I wanted." And the woman says, "Soy tu madre." She's like, "I'm your mother," and I'm like, "Yeah, we know that." And Butter is just like, and I'm like, "Girl, simmer down." Like, she reacted so fast and so visceral. I was like, calm down. It's okay. Look at how I made my face red doing that. Terrible. But I was acting my butt off. Honey, she was giving it all. And I was like, no ma'am. Who the hell is Alexis? I done wrote Alexis out. Who is Alexis? Not me not paying attention to my notes. Did I misspell something? Who is Alexis? Somebody was leaving. Alexis is Mistress Heifer. I done wrote her actual name like I knew who that was. Girl, please. Why would you... Let me talk to myself for a minute. Okay, why would you write her name like you was going to come back to these notes and know who that was? Why would you? Anyway, so Brianna goes over to Mistress Heifer, who I just found out her name was Alexis because I wrote it down. Surprise to me. Where she lived, because she didn't show up to the Planned Parenthood. I'm like, y'all didn't ride together? Interesting. And the roommate opens the door and she's like, "I'm looking for Mistress Heifer." And roommate Heifer is like, Mistress Heifer gone. And she like, Brianna is like, when will she be back? And she like, she gone. She packed all her stuff. And it's rude because she owed me $100. And I was like, you gotta prosecute to the fullest extent of the law. I do not do people owing me money at all. I don't do it. I will hound you about that money until the day you or I die. I had a cousin that had got on drugs, and I didn't realize he was on drugs at that time. And he asked me for $20. He said he'll give it back tomorrow. That was September 17th, 16th. And September 17th, he was supposed to give me the money. Now, this was 2016. He did not give me that money until 2000, and I want to say 18. After many moons of me hounding him. He tried to text me. I'd be like, we not cool till you pay me back. I had a classmate in high school in 2011 who borrowed money from me on March 30th, 2011. It was $3. And I was like, you owe me $3. She did not pay that $3 back until graduation. And I was very annoyed because she owed me $3. I don't play about my money. Anyway, I have gone off on a tangent. Mistress Heifer is gone. She's in the wind, honey, with that baby. We don't know what's about to go on. In the meantime, Jill done packed up her stuff. And Brianna's like, are you really leaving? And she's like, you really don't want me here, so I'm gone. And I'm like, Jill, you need to check your attitude. You are out of control. From last week to this week, you have lost your mind. Lost your mind. And Brianna's like, girl, I need you here. That's why you're here. That's why I asked you to be here. Help me with the children and help, I need my girl. TF? Because you know YouTube won't let you cuss. TF? And while they having this conversation, Braxton P. Hartner-Briggs, Jill's husband, shows up at the door and he starts burning the divorce paperwork. And I'm like, you just print it out again. But he burning it and he like, I can't let you go. I would never hurt you, but I can't let you go. And he backing out the door, he drops the lit papers on the porch next to the doormat. I'm like, Lord, don't let the doormat catch on fire. And as he's leaving, before he really even got out the door like that, it was far too close. You remember on the Golden Girls, when the phone would ring and they would just be like, hello, yeah. And then they didn't give the other person any time to speak. That's how this scene was. Braxton P. Hartner-Briggs backed out the door. And before it would have been logical for him to have been out of the doorway, here come Naomi and Butter stomping out the fire and what was that all about? And I'm like, do better. Do better. Thanks. But now Jill is giving. And I'm just like, I guess, child. They crying, they holding hands, child, and that's pretty much the end of it. I forgot to say that Eric told JoJo that chain was supposed to be hers. He was gonna give it to her because he bought that chain before she was born, because he absolutely knew that was his daughter, but he was shirking his responsibilities because why didn't you put the numbers and pieces together? Why you ain't do your math? And he was gonna get that chain to her, and so now she let's get our chain back, and they get the chain back. I don't really remember how because I don't care. And that was the show. Thanks so much for watching. I will be back next week with another episode. And comment, subscribe, all the things the YouTubers say, and I'll catch y'all